All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining tonight. This is the virtual meeting of the Fall River Historical Commission. We are having our meeting entirely virtual via Zoom, which is being recorded on Fall River Government TV and will be available on their YouTube page. It is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. It is 6 p.m. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Because of the scheduling error between our commission and the licensing board, we were not able to meet in person at Government Center tonight. Can I get a roll call? Joyce?
Present.
Rick?
Hereby televised by Zoom, present.
Elizabeth?
Present.
Ashley?
Present.
And John?
Present.
And Jason Bouchard-Naraki present via Zoom. So we have everyone here except for Connie Sewell. She is not able to attend tonight. And did everyone hear Joyce okay when on the camera? Okay, perfect. Okay. So we have a little technical issue tonight. So the first item on the agenda is to review and approve the minutes from April 30th, 2024. That was the special meeting with the presentation from the students at Roger Williams. Elizabeth sent those around yesterday.
Motion to approve.
I'll
I'll
second.
second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Rick and a second by Ashley. All right, roll call votes. Joyce?
You accept the minutes.
Okay, Rick?
Yes,
Elizabeth?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Jason Bouchard-Naraki, yes. Thank you. Item number 2 is to review and approve the minutes from May 21st, 2024. Elizabeth sent those around as well.
Motion to approve.
John.
seconded.
Okay, John and Rick. All right, motion by John and a second by Rick. Roll call vote to approve the minutes. Joyce?
Approved.
Thank you. Rick?
Yes, approved.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Jason Bouchard-Naraki, yes. Thank you, everyone. Do we have I don't think we have any citizens input for tonight. I don't see anyone here in addition to, all right. There's no citizens input. All right. So I received notice of intent to demolish item number 3. This was a shed demolition at 420 Valentine Street. I notified Carrie that the property is not listed on the register of significant structures. Item number 4, the demolition of a burned structure at 350 Mariano Bishop Boulevard. I did tell Carrie again that the property is not listed on the register. They did request a certificate of non-applicability, which I provided since it's not in our purview. Item number 5, 649 Alden Street. This is the storage house number 2 at the Cornell Mills. It is part of the National Register District for the Cornell Mills, plus being listed on the Fall River Multiple Resource District. So in chatting with the representative from the owners, so this property, that particular structure was not part of the initial rehab of the building, which they have received tax credits for. There's a 5-year look-back period where they cannot do any additional demolition or any type of demolition or changes to the property once they've received their tax credits, and that period has already expired. So that particular structure was not rehabbed. It is it's not in the greatest condition. I believe that they also do have support from the fire department to demolish the building. I did ask if they were seeking a waiver for the demolition. They said they were not, that they will let the 6 months run on the 6-month delay run on that particular structure before they can demolish it. So I did, upon receipt, gave the expiration date of that to Carrie, which I believe I can look it up real quick. Is for find out. The expiration on that will be, I think it's in October, November. I can't find it off the top of my head, but I can provide that. So they will run with the 6-month demolition. Okay. I received the notice on May 30th, so it'll run 6 months past that. So November 30th will be the expiration date. Are there any questions on that at all? No? Okay. All right, so moving on, and item number 6, received a notice to demolish a garage at 33 Woodstock Street, and I notified Carrie that it's not on the register. All right, so we did receive a correspondence regarding item number 7, regarding lamppost restoration and replication at the Fall River, Maine post office. So this will come back to us later. They were asking if there's any restrictions on the property, and I said no. It is part of the National Register District downtown, so they will be working because it's federally funded. It'll be a there will be a Section 106 review on that particular structure because it is a federally funded rehab of a building in the National Register District. So I believe they are reaching out to members from the state of Rhode Island, their preservation office, for similar lamppost rehab that was done on the Mount Hope Bridge. So interesting ties in, but anyways, we'll be hearing more about this later on. But it's for the lampposts on the parking lot side and the 3rd Street side of the structure. I believe one is remaining and the others were either damaged or stolen. So this has been.
That's on, there are preservation restrictions on that building because of the monies. And I don't know if the Mass Historic Commission holds that.
I looked on Macris on the MHC's database, and there wasn't any deed restrictions showing up on that property, not at least attached with the historical commission, with the Mass Historical Commission. So they would have MHC, and they would also have Preservation Massachusetts, which is the statewide nonprofit. So, but because it's federally funded, we will be involved when that process gets more underway.
Good.
And then item number 8, I did receive an inquiry about the historical status of 251 Cherry Street, if there's any design regulations or things like that. It is listed on the Lower Highlands National Register District, so there is a demolition delay if that were to occur, but I merely provided the information over to Carrie. And under new business, item number 9, we have 511 Rock Street. This is the Borden Remington house. I did email everyone the application that came over. They were requesting to change the rubber roof of their carriage house. And because the roof is behind a parapet and it's a flat roof and it is not seen from the street, that was automatically out of our purview. I did send over the letter that was sent to the homeowner. And I did include clauses from the city ordinance that shows the basically stating that if it's out of our purview, that they receive an immediate certificate of non-applicability for this. So I believe they've already since replaced the rubber roof. Are there any questions on that particular item? Nope.
No,
All right.
no, that was a good call.
Yeah, we're moving right along tonight. And then item number 10 for 259 Prospect Street. This is the George Richards house. Application for a certificate of appropriateness to replace the wood shingles. It's in the Highlands 40C. And we do have Maureen Philbin from the Deaconess Home here to discuss the project.
Hi, good evening. Thank you. I have, we want to paint the home at 259 Prospect Street, And after speaking to the painting company, they said that we had to replace the shingles. So we've reached out, we had 3 bids. Our board has voted on going with the roof doctor. We've had an ongoing relationship. They've done work at 603 and have been you should know my numbers, 603 Rock Street. They've done a lot of work for us there. We're very pleased with the vendor, and we were able to receive a quote that matched the other. So we'd like to move forward. All the information is in the packets. I just didn't know if anybody had any questions.
Maureen, before I forget, just for open meeting law, can you state your name and who you're representing, please? Just so we
Oh,
have
I
it on.
apologize.
No, that's okay.
I'm Maureen Philbin. I'm the executive director, and I'm representing Fall River Deaconess Home.
Thank you. So I'm pulling up the application, and so I think initially it was supposed to be just the dormer, but now it's
Yes, and then when the painter came, he said that they really want us, which actually I think is a good idea to get do all the work at once.
And this will be all sides, not just that one facade.
No, it's the backside.
Oh, the backside. Okay.
Yep, in the backside of the dormer. If you see the pictures, you can see the back exit. You can see they're really, and if you go by, you can really see it on the house.
And just for clarification for everyone, so the backside that I'm seeing from the street, so the backside is visible from High Street because it's on.
Yes.
Okay. And it's so we're replacing the shingles with cedar, I believe it was.
Yeah, the red cedar.
Will there, in terms of like any window trim, will they need to replace or pull any of that down?
No, just for this, I have the proposal from them. He's just gonna do the wood, replacing old siding with new pre-primed red cedar wood shingle siding for the back side of the house and 2 dormers and I apologize, Jason, and the south side. So the south side is what you were talking about on High Street, and then the back side.
And the
So
back side.
that's pre-primed. That's not, you're not painting. What you're doing is you're just pre-priming it.
No, prime, yep.
Would it clear?
It's a red, it says red cedar wood shingle.
Correct.
Yeah, as long as the material is wood, we can't approve or deny an application based on paint, and I would imagine stain covers that too, or that covers stain as well.
But it's just a question because putting sealer on red cedar shingles is a good thing to do. It extends the life
Of the
and
thing,
it
yes.
makes the shingles retain their newness a lot longer. So that was my question. All right, so you're not painting, you're just actually putting the stain on there.
Yeah, we're putting the shingle, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. That was, look, Maureen, just me clarifying points again.
Thanks. Rick, I have this really, for some reason, I can't hear you so I'm like putting my ear to the, but thank you. Yes, you are correct. And I made note of that, of your comment, and I will make sure that that's the way they're going, but I believe that is the way, the clear, because we wanted to make it as natural as possible.
Sure. No, that's a good choice. That's excellent.
Yeah, I really like the vendor.
That's good. And they did good work over at 603 Rock. Is it Rock
Yes,
Street?
the other house that's in the historic. Yep.
Yeah, they did great work with that. I don't have any other questions at all. Does anyone have any questions for Maureen at all?
No, none at all. Good job, Maureen. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So may I get a motion if there's no other questions? So we need to approve the application for certificate of appropriateness.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
All right. So I have a motion by Ashley and a second by Rick. I don't know where Elizabeth went. Let me see. Did she bounce off the meeting real quick? Let me see. Oh, she's having. Oh, there she is. Okay. She sent me a text. Her Zoom was disconnected. Hi, Elizabeth. So we have a motion by Ashley and a second by Rick to approve the certificate for item number 10. Roll call vote. Joyce.
Yes.
All right. Rick.
Yes.
Ashley.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
And Elizabeth.
Yes.
And Jason Bouchard Naraki. Yes. All right. Thank you. Maureen, I will send that over to you. I will also CC Carrie Ayash with the licensing department, so the building department will have that ready.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great night now.
Thank you so much,
care.
Maureen. Thank you, everyone. So moving on to old business, we have item 11. So I had sent around the last meeting for the annual report. There were some edits, so I did make those edits. I added disclaimers where more like an asterisk with a special note that says that any of the letters or certificates, things like that, those are all available at the the licensing department, as well as emailing the historical commission. So since that's all public record, I did also include, I changed some of the wording in the conclusion part. Does anyone, I think, John and Ashley, I think you were not at the last meeting. Do you have any questions or? Okay.
I looked over it. I don't really have any questions.
Okay. So with that said, if there's no other edits, can I get a motion then, I guess, to approve the annual report? Then I will submit it to Allison and city clerks and wherever else I need to submit it to, Dan Aguirre and planning and so forth.
Motion to approve.
And I'll second that motion.
John and Rick. Okay, thank you. So I have a motion by John and a second by Rick to approve the annual report. Roll call, Joyce.
Accepted.
Rick, thank you. Rick,
Yes, accept.
Ash, thank you. Ashley,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. And Jason Bouchard Naraki, yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, and that was approved. Item number 12. So Rick and I met with the South End Neighborhood Association on June 6th. It was a larger turnout than we were expecting, but there was some interesting feedback or inquiries about the historical commission and how that can be of a benefit to the potential rehabilitation for the South End. So this was more of the area around Globe Corners and the area that historically known as Globe Village. So we did talk about one of the tools being the establishing of a National Register district. And I think the South End Neighborhood Association is certainly able to, they can apply for grant funds that way to get a planner or a consultant that can actually work on surveying the neighborhood, seeing if it's eligible for the National Register. So that was one of the tools. And then Rick talked a little bit about the history of the neighborhood. I think they do want a more involved meetings soon to talk a little bit more about the history of the neighborhood and the register. So the register.
Clara commented how well it was received.
Mhm.
How the positive comebacks and replies and responses. And I guess she suggested that she'll contact us shortly, but looks like maybe August or September.
Okay.
So maybe September will be wiser.
Yeah, I think so. That way we have a little bit more time to do a little research on that. And
Yep.
Okay. And I had a few people come up to me asking about the register of significant structures and what that meant. And we had a really good question. And it's just a common misperception or misconception about what it means to have your house or building on a register. It doesn't mean that there's design regulations. Somebody had said, "Oh, well, that means that you will tell us what color that we can paint our house," and we quickly debunked that quickly. And we, that's a common point of confusion between the different types of historic districts and the different types of historic statuses for buildings. So that's something I think we can work on to educate the public about what that means. I had one person who is very much interested in getting her house on the register, and she's on Middle Street, and it's a really, really fascinating story with that house. It's one of the newer ones on that part of Middle Street. So she's supposed to be reaching out so we can get her house listed on the register, which is good. Any questions? Anything else, Rick, that you want to add to that?
No, no, you did a great job. They want us to hone in on the historical nature of that village, Globe Village, in our subject matter in September.
Okay.
So, I'm sure there'll be all these other questions about significant structures and how do we register, but they want some history, so we can get together and do that.
Great. Thanks, Rick. So item 11, I'm sorry, item 13, we have, this is regarding the seminar and or meeting with real estate agents. And this was something that was requested by Pamela Liberty. So I had asked for dates. She's saying right now, September or October would be the best. And just because the way the summer vacations and everyone's current workloads. So if she has the time to schedule something out. And I said, honestly, September, October is perfect because we want to be able to make sure that we have, good quality presentation with photos and so forth. And I know, Elizabeth, you are dying to do photos or take photos of houses and just buildings in general. What's that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what we can do, Ashley?
What is she requesting?
So this it's more of an overview of one being architectural styles, and then also what things like what makes a house historic, and then the different levels of historic districts, and
An educational piece, so to speak. Okay.
purely educational. Yep.
Gotcha.
So that'll be a great opportunity to also talk about our design guidelines and yeah. So I think it's fantastic considering that we've often had homeowners who purchased in the Highlands local historic district, not realizing that they
Right.
historic districts. So no, so I think that's good. So I guess Elizabeth, you and I will talk and get something going. And actually, what I'll do for everyone else, I guess we can do like a shared, like a PowerPoint. Would that make sense? And go from there. And if there's any comments and things like that, we can work on it.
Yeah. Sure.
Perfect. Okay. Item. Oh, sorry. Okay.
I
Great.
was just gonna say, that went over so well with the PowerPoint.
Mhm.
That I went out and bought a new camera, a PowerPoint projector. So
Okay.
available if there's anybody that wants to borrow it, let me know. Just plug your laptop into it and off it goes.
Excellent. Thanks, Rick. All right. So item 14, regarding the Bank Street Armory, I believe it's back in the ordinance committee. So that they're scheduling that currently they're looking at July, but they don't have there's no concrete date yet because they're trying to figure out people's vacation schedules. So once we have an idea of when that's happening, then I will let you know. But I have no other update regarding the armory on that. And that brings us into number 15, the certified local government application. There's no update still from Washington. Everything is very much delayed. And in fact, regarding even tax credit applications, just the reviews of those and the acceptances, they're backed up. So I know we will be reviewing continued letters of support, for example, I believe next month or August. I think it's at the end of July. So we'll have that, but I guess the National Park Service is just overwhelmed with everything at this point. So hopefully we'll have an answer soon regarding the status of our CLG app. And last but not least, item 16, Highlands Local Historic District expansion. So I reached out once again to Dan Aguirre. If there's any comments that he had. So Carrie has, Carrie has the surveys and just waiting for the go-ahead to get these out. So it's a little delayed, just because I know they just wanted to make sure that there's no comments from any other departments. So I haven't heard anything. So I will ask Carrie to get those mailed off, hopefully in the next week or two, just so we can get that ball rolling. In terms of a preservation consultant, if we do need one down the line, I think, Rick, do you have quotes? I received one quote. Or no, I had asked around just like a ballpark, like what other firms charge. And it looks like they go based on structure, per property. They go anywhere from like 250 up towards like 450 per property. And it kind of varies. So you have your independent contractors that might do on the lower end, but then these larger firms will quote higher, but that will be if we need to apply for grants down the line, because we need to figure out like what the funding is.
Just an update on an existing condition that we've been talking about. It's not listed here, but the bids that are going out for the bioreserve and the Steep Brook, which we've talked about at the last 3-4 meetings, they're going to be opened on June the 20th. That's when they're due. And there were a series of questions that were answered. There were Mike Labasia's questions. They were more on the bioreserve. And so we got those questions back to the consultant. So we will have some really good hard numbers on
So
Steep Brook. So we'll know what residents or single dwellings are really costing.
Yep. So that'll help us out when determining how much it's going to roundabout cost for the Highlands.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So because right now it's looking like, without just looking at the different, I was asking basically like what companies charge, and not like I didn't get any formal quote or anything like that, just because we're not ready. But somewhere in the neighborhood of between $50,000 and $75,000, depending on how many properties. That's just it. So we won't have that type of information until we get the surveys back. So I wouldn't want to have 149 properties surveyed when 149 properties aren't going to be part of the final slate for the expansion. It would be great, but and in terms of CPC funding, when is the application? Is it the eligibility period is open now?
It's open now. We would have to have that by September 1st.
Oh, okay. To see if we're eligible.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I've got paperwork here. We could sit down, two of us, and fill it out, and then you can present.
Well, so I think that would be a board vote to see if we want to proceed with getting to apply for CPC funds. Which I believe we are eligible to do that. So we can't do that at this meeting since it's not on the agenda. But let me get if it's in September, we have a little time. So let me get those surveys out, and then we will go from there and see what we get back immediately. We can kind of get it. Okay. Is there anything else at all? It's a fairly quick meeting.
I'll just quickly, I got an email this afternoon, actually, and I just opened it just before this meeting. And it's just conversationally here. I just got this. I guess there were 4 large millstones that were discovered by PAL in 2014, but they were all on public land. So the assumption was that they were protected. Now it appears that with this new division, the state division of land with bioreserves and private land, and that big exchange that took place, there are pieces of that bioreserve that have been made open to the public and purchased. So 2 of the stones are subject to getting destroyed. And in this quick memo, it looks like we're going to talk to the owners. They might donate the stones. So they're already on the historic register. They're charted, they're listed.
Mhm.
So we should have some input, but I'll have to give you more data when I.
Yeah, and I can add that to the next agenda also, so we can formally talk about it. That'll be good. In terms of the next meeting, while I have everyone here, I am actually away that the week of our next meeting, which is 1, 2, 3. So it's slated for July 16th. And I am away that entire week. I will throw some dates around. I know we will be having to review, we'll have all those continued letters of support. And if it's like the last meeting, I think that was what, like 6 or 7 letters right there. And I do know we have at least 1, possibly 2 properties that want to be nominated on the register. So we'll have a bit to talk about. Does anyone prefer in-person, virtual?
For something like this, I prefer in person.
Okay.
If we're going to be going through so many items.
Okay. I'll reach out to Carrie and see when the room is available. And then I'll get some dates. I'll throw them out and see what works for everyone. So I'd rather not do virtual, especially if I'm going to be away. I don't know what the Wi-Fi situation is going to be like. So I will let Carrie know that the room is available on the 16th of July, but we will reschedule the meeting. We'll reschedule the meeting for July.
Is there any adverse reaction to holding a meeting, say, on a Thursday night rather than a Tuesday?
No.
Because the latter part of the week seems to be freer up in the city hall.
Right. There shouldn't be, as long as there are no other committees that are using the space, or yeah, there shouldn't be anything. I'll ask Carrie though, just so she can. Actually, I'll ask Allison because I think she's the one who controls the schedule for the committee room.
But as far as we're concerned, we don't have an issue as a committee getting back to the end of the week or so.
No.
Okay, good. Then that's
All right. So I will, once I have dates, once we figure out a date, then I will have that posted at least sooner than later, so that way we can, so it's not our normal meeting date. All right. So with that said, we will 6:33, and we can adjourn. And we will be meeting at a to be determined date in July. May I get a motion to adjourn the meeting then?
Okay, I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
You? Rick? Anyone else?
I'll second it.
That motion?
All right, that was Ashley. Got Ashley. All right, so motion by Rick, second by Ashley to adjourn. So roll call: Joyce,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
and Jason Bouchard Naraki. Yes. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and you have a good night.
You too. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Stay
you.
out.